took me 27 hours, 4 planes, 3 states, just to get from DC to LAX last week. And it was the most crazy, ridiculous. I have not one word to really describe what this experience was like for Delonte and I to be able to get to LAX in order to carry out work for a charity that we were doing. Try to make this quick. What happened, we get on the plane, get ready to leave DC and head to LAX, getting ready to take off, and the pilot's like, whoa, there's something mechanical going on with this flight. We're gonna wheel it back and see if we can have somebody come on board and make sure we do some more tests before we actually are able to take off. They say it's gonna be a couple of minutes. Those couple of minutes turned out to be 4 hours. And to me, I'm like, well, did anyone check the plane the night before when it landed, or even before we all got on the plane? Neither here nor there, but lesson learned. So 4 hours later, they finally told us that the flight was going to be canceled. How are we going to get to LA? Okay, sure. Is there another plane that you guys can put us on so that way we can make it to LAX? Nope. There are no more direct flights going to LA. In fact, the amount of flights that they could even connect us to was dwindling down because they were all being filled up. So we finally, after waiting in line to the service desk and also being on the phone, like I was literally on the phone with customer service and standing in line talking to the agent, trying to have both of them do dual work to try to get us connecting flights. It was that serious. We finally get our flight to go from DC to Chicago, from Chicago to LAX. Perfect. Problem solved. A little late, but nevertheless we would get there. The problem was, as we sat down in the plane to head to Chicago, our flight from Chicago to LAX was canceled. So we're scrambling to be able to find another connecting flight from Chicago to LAX. We found one. Going to Chicago, get off to Chicago, go to Dallas, Fort Worth, from Dallas to LAX. Perfect, right? No. So we're in flight. We got to Chicago, leaving Chicago to go to Dallas, Fort Worth. We got redirected from Dallas, Fort Worth to San Antonio because of this crazy lightning storm. Got it? Okay. Nothing you could do with the airline. We go to San Antonio, sit on the tarmac for about an hour, wait for that storm to die down, get back on to the flight, or, take off, land in Dallas, Fort Worth. By the time we got to Dallas, Fort Worth, it was 1:30 in the morning. Of course, there was no flights leaving Dallas at 1:30 in the morning. In fact, all the flights that were leaving that Friday, because it was now the next day, were sold out, fully packed, nothing available. So I had to think of options to still get us to LAX because of course we had a client that was waiting on us. The only flight that was available was on Saturday. 2 days after we were supposed to be in LA. Saturday at 2:30. We're like, well, we can't really do that. So can you put us on standby? So we get on standby on the first flight that's leaving Dallas to head to LAX. While we're waiting, I said, you know what, let's go ahead and try to find a more confirmed flight on another airline. We booked the other airline because they said that they were going to be leaving at 6 a.m. Problem solved no matter what. Get the email with our tickets and the flight was delayed. Delayed from 6 a.m. to 1:30. And I'm like, you just told us this flight was good to go and it was leaving at 6. Why would you tell us that it was good to go and then not tell us that there was a delay? Because it was delayed before you took my money in order to get on this flight. So we're standing in standby, waiting for the flight from the original airline to see if somebody was just lazy enough to not show up. Thank God 2 people were, because actually 10 people were, because we were number 7 and number 8. In line, and all those people got on the flight before us. We made it. We get to LAX at 10 o'clock the next day. 10 o'clock on Friday. Exhausted because all of the flights between DC and LA were short flights. We couldn't really get a good, nap. nap or something, but we made it. Got there, ate breakfast, went to sleep, woke up, and was able to produce our event. And so I asked myself, what was the lesson? The lesson was patience and being able to work under pressure and being able to respond quickly. And sometimes life is like that. Sometimes you have events, you have situations where you literally have to think quick on your feet and be ready to execute no matter what. So I hope I passed this lesson, and I hope that not another lesson like this ever comes my way, because that experience was crazy.